Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Well, hello and welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. This has been a wonderful day, full of surprises, and another surprise is heading your way this evening. So we welcome you to Just Minding My Business Media. On the other end is our producer, Ida Crawford. Are you there, Ida?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. Happy to be engaging again.
It's going to be one of the Ida and Ruth shows.
Absolutely.
So we invite you in to get comfortable, grab a pen and paper if you might hear something that you really want to hear and you're able to use. And we're going to go ahead and get started because this afternoon or this evening, whenever you happen to be listening to this, it's going to be about play. We're going to talk about Let's Play. And I am Ruth Haskins. I am the co-host of Just Minding My Business Media. I am also the Power Play lady of the Power Play ReConnect experience. And some of you have heard us talk about this before. And Ida has been very instrumental in helping me to step on board and step out there. So this is another opportunity. And I'm going to be telling you a little bit of what's going on with Let's Play. Let's Play has a number of different venues, and one of them is a podcast, which has been kind of quiet for a while, but will be showing back up on the scene very shortly. That's part of my speaking work, and as a matter of fact, by the time you hear this, I will have had another opportunity to speak for the Carroll County Media Center and Tech School. And it should be a very interesting experience. It's a 5 minutes talk on my passion, which happens to be play. And play for me takes on many different forms. And it's going to be fun just to step out there and share that with other people. Because play is so important. We don't do enough of it as adults. We tend to think of it as being something for children. Of course, unless we are engaged in sports or spectator events. We don't tend to really play anymore, and that is just not a healthy way of living. So I wanted to go back a little bit in my history about where all of this began, because Ida is always interested in how things started. And how it started for me was really with two items. One was a book by Julia Cameron. It's called The Artist Way. And that particular book takes you through a series of like mini self-workshops to help you rediscover that part of yourself that has been hiding for years. And as adults, we tend to hide. We take on a facade of what we think the world expects us to do. And so we do all those things. We grow up, we go to school, we get a degree, we get married, we have children. And then somewhere along the line, who we really are kind of like drifts off into the past. And we lose that ability to really get to know who we are. So it's that particular book opened my eyes to what I had been doing to myself for years, and that was hiding. And that was hiding my creative self. Now, some people will say immediately, I'm not creative, I am all numbers and facts and figures and lines. No, we are all creative people. Ida is into technology and computers, and she has that down to a science in itself, but it's still creativity. You have to add not just how the bits and pieces go together, you have to add that knowledge, that creative knowledge of how to make things work, especially when they're not working well.
Uh-huh.
And so that is, I'm sure Ida would agree with me on that.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, we've had those days, right? When all of a sudden
Absolutely.
nothing's working right and you have to figure out, okay, what can I do to make this work? That's creativity. Often that's a piece of ourselves that we let go. We're so used to having people do things for us, especially in this society with so much technology. Everything's we can get everything at just by pressing a button. So a lot of times we do think our creativity is gone. So that book is important. Julia Cameron's The Artist Way. The other item that really helped me was a movie by the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it's called The Shift. And if you have a chance to watch it, I guarantee you that if you are already in that place where your life is beginning to change, you're going to find in this movie, you're going to find yourself, pieces of yourself, and you're going to understand what it means to make a shift. It's a paradigm shift. It's not just, going from one thing to the other. There's something within yourself that is getting ready to change. And sometimes that can come suddenly. Sometimes you can be kind of aware of it, but not know what it is. It's that uneasy feeling that something's not quite right here. And then when it happens, it's like, oh, in retrospect, it's like, oh, wow, that was fabulous. So this is a great movie. I guarantee if you watch it, you will watch it 3, 4, 5 times. It's one of my go-tos, as is Julia Cameron's The Artist Way. When I'm feeling some kind of way and I can't get myself straight, it's like, okay, your creativity is out of place. Something you're not doing is not right. And very often that uncomfortable feeling that we have as adults is about our creativity being shut down. Play is something that is natural to all mammals, and human beings are mammals. Excuse me. When you look in the animal kingdom and you look at the mammals, you notice that all mammals play, and they play for reasons: to have a fit body, for survival skills, to learn how to be in their social group, be it a herd, pod, whatever. They need those skills to be able to survive. And you'll find that in those animal groups, even the adults play, and their purpose in playing is to teach the children. So play is integral for the adults in the animal kingdom. The same thing happens with us. We are mammals, and we need to play for fit bodies, for survival skills, and to learn how to socialize. That's why we look at play as so important for children. But we forget that as we get older, we still need those skills, and we need to develop them because sometimes our circumstances change. We may move for reasons of family or business to another state and be surrounded by different cultures. Or in this country right now, so many different cultures are coming together. So we're constantly shifting, and it takes a bit of creativity to be able to cope with it, and a sense of play, a sense of joy. This is change. Change is not so bad. This is a good thing. So those are two of the items that I use. I really believe that play is a God-given gift. And even when we're infants, that's when we first learn how to play. And when we play as infants, it's exploratory. We are looking to understand the world around us. Babies will put anything in their mouths, so you have to protect them because they want to. It's all about tasting, touching. What does this feel like? What does this smell like? What can I do with this? And essentially, that's a part of us that never goes away. But we tamper it down, we bank it down, we put it someplace else where we don't have to deal with it. Because as adults, once we get to a certain age, we're supposed to have it all together. We're supposed to have figured everything out. So we don't need to taste and touch and feel and explore and have giggles. And that's not adult. We consider that to be childish, but that's not true. We need to learn to be childlike, to have that imagination that wants to explore, wants to find out something new. We all need new things in our lives, and there's so much new that's always coming if we're open to it. So one of the things that I wanted to do this evening, and Ida has given me permission, is to introduce you to something that I do. I do a workshop that's called the Power Play ReConnect Experience. And in that workshop, we do a couple of things. One of them is a meditation. So we're going to do that with you tonight. So I advise all of you to get real comfortable somewhere. But before then, I wanted to talk to you about a little exercise that I do. We do a lot of creative things, silly things that you would think, like children, most people when they first come in go, oh my goodness, what do we have to do? And I have people write on the wall. I have people eat things that they've never eaten before. The very first time I did this, I had all kinds of health food things. And people were like, looked at the table and they were like, oh. But by the time 6 hours later, they were all really happy with everything that was on that table. They had all kinds of health food snacks that were really good. And they weren't, horrible things. They were things like raisins and nuts. And okay, so I did have some roasted seaweed. People wanted to know what on earth. And I made a ginger lemonade that was real ginger. And, people, their taste buds after a while got used to it. And I gave them permission to graze all day if that's what they needed to do. We did some things with paints. We actually did some painting of objects. And what I loved the most was watching people metamorphosize. They came in one way, and when they left, they were like a new person. Something that they had forgotten came back to them, which was really the amazing part of it, is when I started listening to people say what they had forgotten about themselves. And one woman actually said that, she had forgotten that as a child, she wanted to be a violinist. How big is that? How big is that, that you can forget that part of yourself? Another person remembered how much they loved to dance. And they had denied themselves that for years. Just interesting things that we hide from ourselves. So one of the exercises that I do with them is the other person in your chair. And the other person in your chair, everybody's sitting down at the beginning, and I just ask them to stand up and introduce themselves to the other person in their chair. And it feels silly. It feels stupid. Yes, it does. You feel a little strange talking to yourself as you're standing there talking to yourself in a chair. But it was amazing how many people couldn't do it. It was like they knew their name, they knew where they lived, they knew what they did for work. And that's kind of like that was it. By the end of the workshop, I had them repeat the same process, the same exercise, and it was amazing what they had to say to that other person in the chair. It was just, I was blown away by it. And that's why I love doing what I do. That power of play is so amazing, what it releases in people. So this may be a little bit short. I don't know what Ida's over there thinking. She's just over there chuckling to herself.
No.
So Ida, did you have any questions or anything that you wanted to ask? Or
no, I know all about the play.
Okay, all right, she does. She's heard this for quite some time. So I'm really grateful to be able to do this with everyone once again, to be able to be on Just Minding My Business. That is also part of the play, being able to do something that I love doing. And I think that's something that we often don't give ourselves the opportunity to do what we love. Often we do what we have to do, what we're told to do. I can remember my aunt, God bless her, she meant very well, but when she heard that what I really wanted to do, her suggestion was, and this is years ago now, folks, but in my youth, she told me to get a job with the post office because that was the thing. That was what people did. You became a teacher, you became a nurse, or you worked for the post office. And so many people have done the same thing even now. There are many people because their father and their grandfather was a lawyer, they decided that they were going to be lawyers too. Actually, the family decided that they were going to be lawyers, and they gave in. But in the meantime, there may have been the soul of a violinist, or the soul of a great basketball player, or the soul of a great writer. But no one would foster that because it didn't seem safe. The truth is, our safety comes in using the gifts that we're given.
Mm-hmm.
And the gift of play helps us to get in touch with those gifts and to be true to them. And it will take you through a lot of really challenging times. You learn to be grateful. You get a self-awareness through play. And you gain enthusiasm for life when you play full out. So with that, I'm going to turn over now, and we're going to do a meditation. It's about 5 minutes. And I would ask everybody to get comfortable and, just, yes, release, breathe. And I'm going to walk you through this. And the title of this one is called In My House. So be aware that after you finish this, you may need to do some breathing exercises. You may need to do some writing, which is one of the great simple tools of play. Whenever you've got something on your mind or something that comes up in your heart and you can't quite grab it or deal with it, writing is a simple tool. And I always tell people to write without any concern for grammar, spelling, punctuation, or the way it looks. Just get it down on paper. Yeah. Just free write for as long as it takes you to get it out. And you'll know when you're done, because you will come to that place of like, okay, I've gotten it all out.
It's absolutely magical.
Yes, it is. It really is. Yeah, and you'll be surprised at what comes out. So everybody, make yourself comfortable. Wiggle or shake out as much tension from your body as possible. Now clench your fist as hard as you can and take as much of this tension, clenching, into your body as possible. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Now relax and let go. Close your eyes. You are safe. Nothing and no one can harm you. The past is only a memory. Before we go for a walk, in your mind's eye, create a safe place. It can be somewhere that you went as a child, or it can be a person who in your childhood was your safe place. Now, you are going for a walk. You're not alone. If at any time you need help, someone is here for you. This is a familiar street in a familiar neighborhood. It is the street where you grew up, where you have your most powerful memories of childhood. What does the street look like? Do you recognize the houses? Are there familiar people? What did your street sound like? Was there a lot of traffic? Or was yours a suburban street? Or did you live in the country? Remember what it was like to approach your house. What were your feelings? Remember your feelings at a certain age? Maybe you were in kindergarten, or elementary school, or high school. Stand across the street or at a distance from your home. What does it look like? How do you feel? Now walk across the street and enter your childhood home by the door you used most. What does it feel like as you reach for the door, open it, and step inside? Pause for a moment and remember. Who was in the house when you came home from school? Was there laughter in the house? Were you afraid? Take your time and walk through each room of your house and remember. If at any time you come into a room in your house and you feel either overwhelmed or fearful, it is all right to leave. Go to your safe place and wait. Still, in your childhood home, what was celebrated? Can you remember details, even aromas from cooking? Who was at these family gatherings? Can you remember how you felt about each person? In your childhood home, what is your most memorable event? Was it joyful or was there sadness? Who was there? In your childhood home, was there anyone who should have been there who was missing? Are you aware of your feelings about that person? Take a look around your childhood home. Is there anything special that you want to take with you? A part of you that you left behind? Take that and gently wrap it in tissue paper. It can be a thought, a memory, an object, a toy, maybe an award you won, a ball and bat, a doll, a favorite childhood book, your secret diary. Whatever it is, wrap it gently in tissue paper and tuck it safely away. Look back one last time. Open the door you walked through and close it behind you. Your childhood is a memory filled with events and people only you know, and only you know the meaning of each encounter and each event. Slip the key into a safe place. You can always come back if you need to, if you want to. But now it is time to leave. Take a final look, say a final goodbye, and walk away. It is time to return from your walk. Acknowledge your safe place. Know it is always there for you. Take 3 deep breaths. Say thank you and open your eyes. Become accustomed to the space around you and aware of any lingering thoughts or feelings. Now it is time to write. 3 pages. 1 page is a letter to someone that you saw in your childhood home. 2 pages are to examine your feelings about this visit. If you had to go to your safe place, write about why you had to do so. This is your experience and yours alone. Unless you are with someone who you highly trust, do not share this experience. When you are finished writing, you may keep these writings or you may shred them. The choice is yours. Again, remember, you are never alone. Support surrounds you always.
Wow.
So that's our Just Minding Your Business media for this week. I hope it will be beneficial. I hope you understand a little bit more about play, and at some future time, I will be doing a workshop, and Miss Ida will let you know when that is, and I'll let you know where it is. And I really look forward to seeing some of the faces. Miss Ida has been talking about doing a number of things for Just Minding My Business Media and also a sister circle. So hopefully we'll see you at one of our events coming up in 2020. And I'll have a chance to work with some of you one-on-one. It would be a real pleasure. just remember for the time being that play is many things to many people. And one of the things to be able to play full out is that you have to get clear with yourself. We all have baggage. We all have memories. We all have good things and painful things that sometimes just cloud up our vision. And play is what helps us to move it out of the way so we can regain our focus and joy in life. Because it is a God-given gift. Play is a God-given gift, and it should make you smile. But sometimes there's other work that has to be done around it too, so that you can get to the smiles. So thank you, Miss Ida, for allowing me to ramble on and bring Let's Play.
Thank you so much, Miss Ruth. I am so relaxed and comfortable at this moment. And I thank you for sharing and creating a space where people can really dig deep and really begin to heal or whatever they need to do to get to where they need to be. So thank you.
You're so very welcome. Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.
Always, always. Mwah.
Love you.
Love you back.
Word on the street says there's something new at Just Minding My Business Media. You've heard our podcast, Just Minding My Business Radio, that brings news and views you can use. That airs every Thursday at 6 p.m. on iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and Spreaker. Well, now you can watch Just Minding My Business. That's right, Just Minding My Business Media now has a TV presence on Raven International TV Network, broadcast on Roku, Fire, and Apple TV. Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV, through Just Minding My Business dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmb.asistercircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level. Thank you to the amazing women of A Sister Circle Empowerment Network, ASCEN LLC, and our media partners. Let Just Minding My Business Media promote your business. For information, visit us at jmb.asistercircle.org. That's jmb.asistercircle.org. Voiceovers by RCH Voiceworks, for when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.